He is a big-time player. In my mind, he's got to be one of the favorites for MVP of the league, along with Harmeet Singh, his teammate.
Well, this one is up in the air. Is it a chance for another? Who's going to find it? It's taken. Harmeet Singh, the captain. Finger goes up. And the big shouts. This is what you needed if you are the Seattle Thunderbolts. You get yourself back into the game due to that man with the golden arm, Phani Simhadri.
The second season of the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship is behind us, and now we can look back on the performers who captured our imaginations and our hearts. One of the best of these is joining me today, league champion, West Division MVP, and league MVP, Phani Simhadri. Phani, amazing season. Very happy to have you joining me.
Hi, Nate. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I'm happy for this.
Oh, well, thanks for taking the time to join me. You just had a great season. Of course, you've probably been celebrating the last couple of days. I saw you guys having quite a nice little party there at the hotel after the game on Sunday. A lot of great feelings on that team right now, huh?
Yes, the team is very happy. That's what the way we started the tournament. I mean, we started with a loss, and the team meeting for the next game, before the next game, was like, okay, guys, the margin of error is very less. The kind of competition we have in our division, we have to be top 2 out of the 7 teams.
Right.
So the captain told only one thing: be brave in the field. So, and vice captain Andreas, guys, we need that attitude and intensity on the field. So, and the coach was like, keep your calm,
right,
and show your attitude and intensity. And captain was, be brave, whatever you do, we are behind you, but do it bravely. Right. So that was the talk after the first game loss. And then we started on a good note with the winning the second game, and then everything went in place, and we were brave in almost all the do or die games.
Yeah, for sure.
The last few weeks. Yeah,
the last 3 weeks, every single game you played was critical. It was one of the things that I was curious about was you had just played your way into the playoffs, where you had to chase down, and on the very last regular season game, you had to chase down, I can't remember what it was. It wasn't a big target, but it was big enough. It was about 115 or something. And
yeah, it was 110, and we had to chase it down in 8.4, and we chased it down in 7.1 because of the heroics from our captain Harmeet.
Right. You had to chase that down in 8.4, and you did it in 7.1. And I heard the youngster in Seattle, Akalesh, the young kid who's very enthusiastic about stats, I heard he helped you guys figure out that plan as far as what the target needed to be, how quickly you had to chase that down.
Yes, a lot of people worked on it, and finally one of them came up with the stats.
That's great to see the community, coming together to help you guys out, to help you know what you needed to do.
Right.
It's not an easy thing to figure out, But your team, like we were saying, your team had a lot of ground to catch up on in the last weekend of the regular season, and then you get to the first playoff round, the best of 3 series. And because of the rules of the best of 3 series, if you have a game rained out and you can only play 2 games, then the team that's not in first place has to win both of them. So you were in a position where you couldn't lose a single game in the playoffs, because your series was limited to 2 games because of rainouts on Saturday, and you were in the same situation you were in the week before, where you have to beat them, and one of the games is going to be shortened. So that puts the pressure on you guys opening the batting to put up a big score, so that they couldn't chase it down in a shortened game. Or in case any other rain happened and there'd be any Duckworth Lewis, you guys wanted to have big numbers on the board so that they couldn't chase you down. So for 4 straight games, you guys had this scoreboard pressure that was really, really intense.
Wow, you must see the dugout. Every game is like, okay, guys, we are going to the finals. So whatever it is, just give. We don't have anything to lose, so give everything, more than your 100%.
Right.
And the way management worked around to have a playoff game against Dallas, that was amazing effort from the management. It was not easy, right? Yeah. And we played the back-to-back 2 games, and we beat them fair and square in both the games. which was encouraging for us to before going to the final playoffs.
For sure. And then
Yeah.
you get into the finals weekend, and this was the big question on my mind. You just had all this scoreboard pressure.
Yeah.
How would you approach Church Street Park? Bigger ground than most, faster outfield, symmetrical outfield. It's perfectly it's radially symmetrical. It's round. So, that's what my big question was. Are you guys going to keep putting your feet on the gas pedal, or are you going to try to play, more for the ground? Because that ground, if you really go and put your feet on the gas pedal, you can get out really quickly.
Yes.
Especially in the middle overs after the power play. You obviously on that ground, you want to put up big numbers in the power play, and then you want to kind of navigate those middle overs and then light it up at the end. That's the way you want to play at that ground.
Yeah.
So I was curious to see how you would approach that. And you guys really put up what I think the first game was 155 and the second one was 157, opening the batting in both games. And those looked like close to par scores, but not quite at the time. But runs on the board in a stressful game, that's in your favor, I think, especially with the bowling attack that you guys have. It's pretty intense bowling attack.
Yes. So I can definitely say we have the best bowling attack compared to any other team. You can see from the stats itself.
Sure.
The top 10 itself have 4 of us. Shubham joined late to the team, or else he would have been in the top 2.
Right. Well, that's
so the kind of bowling we had with the 5, very good bowlers. Akhilesh, covering bowling in the power play.
Yeah.
To help the team. He's a spinner, but he comes in the power play to help the team because if he covers the power play, then Harry and Shubham can cover in the middle overs, and I can come in the death overs.
Yeah.
So being a youngster, he took on the responsibility, which is not easy.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah. And then we have experienced Shadley on the top, who can control the power play, and he can squeeze the opponents and make them work for their runs.
Right.
And the middle overs, you have well experienced Harry and Shubham, who can Shubham can vary his speed, pace, and with the slow ones and quicker ones. You can see his performance even from the finals.
Fantastic.
The match performance from the finals. And Harry has always been consistent throughout the season.
Right.
Not any other league he plays, he has been perfect. So it's tough to play him. I haven't seen any players so playing him freely.
Right.
And the kind of trust they kept me in, making sure I do the red bowling right, made me perform better. The kind of confidence they put in me. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's how so our bowling has always backed our batting.
Right.
And our batting was like blasting before in the previous games where we had to do or die. And every game with Ryan coming into the team, the kind of mindset at the starting power play has changed. With Andreas getting a support from Ryan to fire up in the top, it has helped the team to score more runs in the power play. So whoever dominates the power play has a scope of scoring more runs in the T20, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it worked with Ryan coming into the team. The mindset changed, and Andreas had more support on the top, and we were able to put runs. But even then, against Silicon, we believe we were short of 15-20 runs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our bowling pulled it up.
Boy, did you ever.
Yeah, with continuous breakthroughs. With Shubham coming in and getting Unmukh Chand and Lennon Simmons at the crucial time. Yeah, that actually helped in closing the game.
Right, because just before Lendl Simmons got out, the over just before it, he hit back-to-back sixes on Ekalesh, I believe.
Yes.
And it looked like that part of the game was so amazing. I was watching your management and your ownership. I was not far from them. I was watching them pacing, and they were walking all over the place. And I remember thinking, well, yeah, this game's getting out of hand now. Seattle's losing this game is what I thought you guys were losing the grip on the game. And then Simmons got out immediately after he hit those 2 sixes. And the very next over, I think it was Shabam was the one that got him out.
Yes.
And then Gary comes in and for Silicon, and I'm thinking, well, they still have to get Gary Graham out. Gary Graham has done this for them all season long. He's come in late and he scored really big.
Yes.
And then he scored a 6 and a 4. And I thought, well, here we go again. And then I remember saying to somebody, well, Lendl Simmons just scored 2 sixes and then got out immediately. Maybe that'll happen this time with Gary. And sure enough, I mean, it did. He just won too many chances. He took one too many chances. And and then Narsingh couldn't get it done like he did last year at Church Street Park. He was very, very good in that final last year.
Yeah.
But Pranay did a great job getting their team to a position where they could actually had a really good chance of winning the game. But they just couldn't pull it out. And that was, that last over from Shadley was excellent bowling. That was phenomenal.
He put all his experience, and he put the first 3 balls were on the
right
shot. On the trot, he was able to put them in the Yorker lane. So
right,
batsman wasn't able to dig it in to hit anything. So
yeah,
there you can see his experience coming into play.
Right, right. Yeah. Honestly, as somebody who I wanted to see a good game is what I wanted to see. So, but that last over felt like it was yours. It felt like it was yours the whole time. It felt like it belonged to Seattle, like from start to finish. I don't think once you got to the last over, I thought, okay, well, Seattle's probably going to win this. And then every single ball, the rest of the over, it didn't feel like you guys were going to lose. It just felt like you had all of the steam,
Yes.
Yeah.
Sadly at the end, finishing the over. Feel good.
Yeah. So do you think also that was an ugly win for you guys? You didn't really play a great game and you guys won the game anyways. You played.
That was the talk. That was a talk on it in the dugout too.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry was pretty clear. We had a bad day in batting, and even then we were able to be the best team.
Right.
The defending champions, Silicon Valley Strikers.
Right.
So
right.
Tomorrow we have to bring up a good game against whoever we'll be playing, because the second game didn't happen by then, right?
Right.
So it was pretty clear. We had to step up our batting a little more, and bowling has always been doing good the whole season. So we had to keep it the same.
Right. And obviously Rishi Bardwaj was phenomenal in the first innings there. Yeah. You have so many good batters up there at the top. Andres, Rayan, Shabam, Harmeet, and obviously Shadley coming later on, but all of them didn't get the job done. And so normally, a lot of teams might say, okay, cool, we're out of the woods, but Rishi had a moment for himself, didn't he?
Yeah, but this is not the first time Rishi has done. Rishi is a lot of experience too. Is an experienced pro.
Yeah.
Right. Even in our second game, he was the one who was, who stood there and pulled off the game, took the game to the end, and he finished the game for us. And even the game against Golden State Grizzlies, where we were trying to finish the game early.
Yeah.
To pull up the run rate, and he went in and he just hit 6-6, and he finished the game.
Yeah.
So Rishi in the middle order is always like a pillar to the team.
Yeah.
And he's really good playing spin. I would say he's the best player in our team who can play spin.
Right. That's saying a lot. That's saying an awful lot, Yeah.
Yeah. And the way he anchored in his innings, and may help the team to put up decent score.
Sure.
Yeah. It really helped us bowlers.
Yeah.
To put more effort and bring the game back to us.
Right. And he was phenomenal 2 years ago in the exhibition season. We had the minor league had the short exhibition season. He was absolutely fantastic in that exhibition season. I remember writing about him. And then, last year he wasn't as fantastic. He wasn't as great. He didn't perform as well. I mean, he was still solid. But I remember when I saw that you guys got him and when you guys got Bodegum, Akalish, when you got the two of them, I was like, oh man, Seattle just added a couple of great role players to this team. You already had the stars. You already had three very big stars on your team: Harmeet, Andres, and obviously Shadley. And so it was not about you had the stars to win. You just needed to fill in all the gaps. And in this league, you need to have performances from every single slot. You have to have, we even saw, Rohan Palsnapali didn't bowl this weekend, but we did, but I've talked about it before. He made that amazing catch against Lone Star at the very end when Johnny Khan was going to take the game away.
Yeah, it's one of my fan moment, I would say.
Yeah.
So it was his catch, which actually gave us a chance to, win the tournament. Right?
It's one play.
If we had lost this match, like if we wasn't able to take the catch, and if we had lost this match, we'd not be there.
If he
we would not have had this conversation.
If he doesn't catch that ball, you're not even in the playoffs.
Yeah, we are not in the playoffs. That's why.
To do that, it's such a tough thing to manage the expectations and the morale of a young player when they're not getting chances. You have such good bowling from your 5 regular bowlers, that it's tough for anybody to crack that. And then you get in a point where you had to win every game. You had to win every game by a margin. You're just going to roll with with the 5 amazing bowlers that you have. And Shubham was the guy I knew the least amount, the least about going into the playoffs. I knew the least about him. And, seeing him in person, watching him play, looking at his numbers, they were fantastic. But also bowling in your team, everyone has such good numbers that it's almost like it's tough to pick out the best guy.
Right. So even Rohan, right, is is rising superstar, I would say.
Agree.
He's one of the best in the fast bowling right now in youth.
True. In his age group, he's probably the fastest guy. Yeah.
And his action is smooth, and he's good with length. Even Dale Steyn,
I remember.
Talk about him, the way he bowls. So it's not easy to get an appreciation from Dale Steyn.
Right. No, you're right. That U19 team is so talented. That whole team. I went to the selection camp in San Francisco area, in the Bay Area, and it was great because you had Rohan Palsnapali bowling from one end. His hair was longer back then, and he had like true fast bowler's hair. And then you had Abaram Bolasetti bowling from the other end in one of the games. And I just remember thinking, man, these two kids, they're something else. Obviously so many good players on that U19 team, and there are so many good bowlers on that team too. I only mentioned 2 of them, but yeah, you guys did a great job picking up players to fill in those gaps. And obviously in the future, we're going to see more local Seattle youth playing in that U19 and that U21 slot. In the meantime, it's great to have someone like Rohan Palsnapali filling us. It's amazing that you're able to get a kid of his quality because the Bay Area is so crowded. There's so many good young players there. It's amazing you could pick up somebody like him who's one of the best young players in the whole country and get him on your team. So good shrewd work by your management there to make that happen.
Yes, that's really amazing actually, the way they put up the team, the way they fill up the gaps. And the coach Adam who joined the team, and and the way he coached the entire team. The learnings we got from him are not easy. The way he played a lot of cricket in Australia, he played a lot of leagues, and the kind of experience he gave the team is immense. And another experienced player we had is DK, Daminda Ranavira. He had 100 first-class games under his name, and the way he keeps the team's achievements ahead of his personal feelings is really good. The way he has been, I would say, the most likable player in the team. Yes. So he gives you all the stretchings. He gives all the. He is like being assistant coach kind of stuff to
Sure.
um, Adam, and he always gives us ideas. He comes up and he gives you the stretchings. He gives you the back stretches. Everything. It's
Mhm.
playing 100 first class games is not easy.
No, no, no. I'm
Kind
sure.
of
Yeah.
environment he created for us is immense.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. I mean, every team needs that. That's what kind of one of the things that the league's all about, getting that experience into everybody. I mean, you just won the league MVP, and you're not one of the marquee players on your team. Like that's such a cool thing about the league. It's such a great story, you know.
Yes.
And let's get, speaking of great story, let's talk a little bit about you. Let's talk about where you come from, your backstory. I read a little bit about you the other day, that you grew up, obviously you grew up in India, and you played cricket up until you were 14, and then you took a break. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So my father, my parents actually. So I was interested in cricket, and my father was too. I'm more involved in extracurricular activities along with my studies. So because of that, my father, me, and my younger brother, both of us are interested in cricket. So my father used to get up in the morning, 4:30, wake us up. We used to get ready by 5, and then go to the ground by 5:30, and then for coaching, and then we used to coach until 7:30 and return home. And by the time my mom prepares everything ready, and we just get ready and get to school bus and then go to school. So that's how it used to be, um, almost every day, like 7 days a week. We used to go for cricket, and we used to play games on the weekends. Saturday and Sunday used to be half a day, Saturday half day schools, and then evening we used to go for practice, and Sunday we used to have full games.
Right.
Oh, we have been regularly, like me and my brother used to practice regularly, go to coaching, and play with a number of different people who are different, who are good in their own areas.
Right.
And we had a good coach, multiple coaches actually. We started with a very good coach, Maninder sir, and that's how he let us do our natural stuff. Like my bowling action was unorthodox from the start.
Oh, so I was
So,
just gonna ask you, when you were waking up at 4 a.m., were you bowling like like this at 4 a.m. all
I mean,
along?
the way I started practice, I don't know. I started bowling the same way.
Mm,
So I was never around arm.
right.
So it started like that, and I continued like that. And my coach, they didn't try to change me like you have to go around arm, nothing like
Yeah.
that. So if I was good at that, and he said, yeah, you can go with that.
So you must have been doing something good, because yeah, a lot of coaches, if you're getting results, don't mess with them.
Yeah,
It, and that's impressive that they let you go, that they let you. You're actually pretty lucky that they didn't try to tinker with you, because
yeah,
I think I think a lot of coaches would have really tried to change you just for the ease of their own aesthetic, but like, it's good that they encourage you. Yeah, you got something unique going,
yeah,
like, you're not going to be a 6'5" fast bowler. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So it's good that you get to use the unique thing that you have, to get people out. Like in cricket, there's so many ways to get a batter out. I mean,
yes,
for a bowler to get a batter out, there's so many different types of balls that really you just want to take advantage, especially in this format. You want to take advantage of what the batter's trying to do, and they're trying to hit the ball out of the park.
right. So that's how I continue with my bowling action, and so I used to do cutters. I don't know why, but I used to do that cutters even when I was young. So seeing that my coach actually advised me to try bowling spin rather than
Mhm.
fast.
Right,
So I turned into a spinner
right.
actually.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I did turn into a spinner, and I started bowling spin until my 14. I was bowling spin. Even the zonal levels I played in India, I
And
was.
you were still coming from this angle, but bowling spin, right?
Yeah, it almost comes not that sidearm, but a little. Yeah,
Like a three
yeah,
quarters side. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
three
There you go.
quarters. So action remains same, but I turned spinner, and I played the zonal level everything as a spinner, left hand spinner. So after playing until 14, then my parents were like, okay, now you're in your 10th grade, and then you'll have +1, +2, 11th and 12th to
Right.
study. You need to focus on your studies. That's your future. They were true.
Yeah.
So at the time, there was no T20 cricket and everything. It's all one day and test cricket. So
Sure.
I started focusing on my studies, and I put a break to my cricket. And then after 3 years, then I started my undergrad. So in my undergrad, they didn't have leather ball cricket over there wherever I studied, the university I did my undergrads in.
Right.
So we had a bunch of friends. We played together, and we used hard tennis ball. We used to play multiple tournaments within the university
Right.
using hard tennis ball. And that's when I started bowling fast again.
Right.
Because it was tough to
Right.
bowl. Yeah, it was tough to bowl spin with a hard tennis ball.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Especially off break. You're just gonna you're just gonna get hammered.
yeah, hammered. So that's when I started bowling spin, and I naturally had that cutter since my engage. I was bowling that. So
Right.
I used to do that even with the hard tennis ball, and I was tough to play even
Right.
with tennis ball. So that's how I started bowling fast again, and I continued that. After my undergrad, I got into a job in India, and then I played for a corporate team, Wipro, and I continued bowling pace.
Right.
I played it for 2 years before coming coming here to US for my master's. And I did my master's in University of South Florida, Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I actually started working, amplified my cricketing career. So I put more focus. We had a university team which represented in American college cricket. And our university, I was leading my university team in my final year of my master's.
Right.
I was the president of the cricket club for
Nice.
the university. So we won the regional championship. We beat Everest University in the finals. We had all young guns. Everyone was really good. We had a good team put up. We had trials and a lot of practice games, and then the kind of team we had, we were unbeatable in the league. And then we ended up losing in semifinals against Ryerson in the national championship. But then the kind of performance we put was really good.
Right.
So in USF, my cricketing career started in high. So I worked a lot. I practiced on my fast bowling skills, getting really consistent with my Yorkers. So my death bowling, I've been the spearhead for the team. So mostly I used to be bowling the death. And to be more effective in that, I was working on, along with my cutters, I was working on Yorkers.
Yeah.
So I worked on them during my studies there, and every day, like weekly, 2-3 times in a practice, I used to just go and just bowl to the stems with a marker there, and all that helped me. And then in 2017, once I moved to Columbus with the help of Sai Ramesh, actually. He is one of our alumni. And he's a very good friend of mine who helped me get the kind of exposure I got.
Right.
So the kind of cricket I played in Tampa is because of 2 other alumni, Satish and Nagesh. So both of them were the main pillars for cricket growing in Tampa.
Right.
And the kind of encouragement Satish used to give me was really good. And then Sai Ramesh actually taught me, okay, this is not the level you have to play. You have to go further up. And he used to take me to tournaments wherever he used to play. He used to suggest my name to teams whoever required any players. So that's how I got the kind of exposure I got. Right. And I started playing bigger leagues, the bigger competitive levels, and went on improving my game. And that brought me now here. So
we were talking after the game, and you said last year you were suffering with COVID, and then post COVID, you were very fatigued most of the time.
Yes.
So that affected your ability to perform last year. Otherwise, you would have led the league in wickets, right?
Like... I don't know. So that's something which didn't happen. So I don't want to assume that, but I would have performed better. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, after this year where you had such an amazing season, I mean, you took so many more wickets than the next guy. It was pretty phenomenal. You know, surely you benefited from playing on a team with a great bowling attack all the way through, so that by the end of the game, everyone has to play catch up. And then here you are just scooping up the wickets. You know, obviously you made it hard. You made it very difficult for them to do that. They couldn't do what they wanted to do at the end of the game because of your quality. So there was nobody on that. There's nobody in your bowling attack who you can really go after. You can't really target anybody. You're just gonna get yourself out. So basically the key to beating your team is to just have another really good bowling team. So
Right.
right. Yeah, so next year though, everybody will have seen you. They'll know who you are. They'll look around the ground, they'll look for you. And everyone's gonna have a different plan of how to play you next year. And how are you preparing for that right now? How are you do you think you'll be able to adapt to that pretty quickly?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had discussion with my captain too. I'm working on evolving myself, to be not predictable.
Right.
Maybe have add few more tricks to my bag,
Sure.
and work on them. I'm working on few things,
Sure.
even during this season. So I'm trying to perfect them and come back
Right.
more stronger next season. So thing is that I bowl in the death.
Yeah.
And T20 at the death, they have to go for you.
They do. They have to. Especially in your
way-
team when you get to the death overs and you've only scored 90 runs the whole game, and you're like, oh geez, now we have to score 60 runs in the next 4 overs, right? It's of course. Perfect.
Yeah, the way Harmeet uses me in the death helped me actually.
Yeah.
So because even though they know I bowl a slow one, Andrew's keeping up is not easy. He doesn't know when I'll bowl a quicker one.
I saw a couple of times.
I don't even signal him. So that's how we worked. So Andreas, being a pro, he is so friendly with me that I can do whatever I want and he backs me up.
Yeah.
Once in a while, it doesn't go. If it doesn't go right, he comes to me and tells me, "Okay, this is not going right. So better go with your original plan. Let's do this."
I saw that a moment like that in the final.
He didn't expect a wide Yorker from me.
He didn't expect the wide Yorker, and he made it known that he didn't expect it too. It was pretty entertaining actually. And as somebody who was watching, I was thinking, well, that must have taken him by surprise there, because honestly, what you were doing anyways before the wide, what you had been doing was working so well.
Yes.
Like,
that's all. So once in a while it happens. Suddenly my mind says, "Okay, don't do this, do that." They back me up. But if that doesn't work, they back me up. If it works, well and good.
Yeah.
So the kind of team I have is really very supportive.
Right.
And so as I said, I'm working on a few more things for the next season. I need to work on my fitness. I need to strengthen my core and legs a little bit to be more effective every over. Like in few games, one of the overs have been consuming 10 to 15 runs. One bad over happens. A few games it happened. So I want to reduce that. So
are we going to see you also? I noticed that in your entire minor league career, you've had 2 batting innings. You've faced a total of 4 balls. So what I was going to say is, are we going to see you coming out soon and thinking of yourself as an all-rounder someday? Are you going to work on your batting?
Actually, I used to do batting, but the kind of batting lineup we had, I ended up at the end. But in the club cricket, I do batting at the top order. you see my stats, I do have a century and 350s.
Oh, nice. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So, but I need to work on my batting, to be frank, honest. Um, for the minor league level, I need to definitely work on a little, not little more, much more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you have
And
like
fielding skills
27,
or something.
yeah, 27 matches, 2 innings batting, 4 balls total. One of them's a not out. So it's like yeah. I would say, you know, maybe that's not the priority. So yeah, enough about your batting. Let's talk let's talk about, what brought you to Seattle, how you got to play on the Seattle team.
Okay. So in my first year, after the exhibition season for my league, the first season started, right? The year I got COVID and wasn't able to play much. So I'm a resident of Ohio back then. So being in the Midwest, we come under the Michigan Cricket Stars franchise.
Right.
But they had their own plans, and I wasn't part of the plans. So I was in the reserves, and later ended up being a free agent, not part of Michigan Stars team, because as I said, they had their own plans for their own team.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's pretty remarkable though. I mean, think about this. They passed on you for whatever reason. They had their own plans, like you said.
yeah,
So they passed on you, and then the second season of minor league cricket, you take the most wickets in the league, and you're the MVP. So that's gotta be they gotta be thinking, oh man, why did we do that? I mean, if you have to think that they're regretting this, right?
I mean, see, I don't know. I am not in their shoes. As I
Sure.
said, right? They've had their own plans. So
Mhm.
might be whatever reason, whatever planning they had, they didn't include me. So actually, I would say maybe that helped me, because that is when Harmeet was able to, we played, Harmeet and myself played together in 2 or 3 long weekend tournaments.
Right. Right.
We played together, we played against. So that's how Harmeet knows about me.
Right. I
And
see.
well, in one of the tournaments, in the long weekend tournaments, we had Harmeet, Andreas, and Shadley come in, and we all played for the same team.
Wow. Wow. How
And
about
yeah,
that? Yeah,
and
that's something else. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I did good.
Mhm.
So by then, Harmeet already recommended my name to Andreas and Shadley to look at me, and because they don't know me by then,
Right.
they have seen me for the first time. And after seeing the way I performed in that league, in the tournament, Harmeet already did the recommendation, and with more support from other 2 pros, the management accepted me, and then took me as a free agent for the first season.
Free agent. That's one of the great things about that designation is you can look at this. This is a success story of the free agent designation, because
Yes,
a team passes you up for whatever reason, and another team knows about you, and they say, hey, wait a second, let's pick this guy up, and that's absolutely fantastic. It makes me wonder how many other gems are out there waiting to be
yeah,
scooped up by somebody.
right,
And that's, there's an awful lot of cricket played in this country. There's an awful lot of T20 cricket played in this country. There are a lot of these little prize tournaments on the weekends and stuff. There are tons of these
yes, yeah,
tournaments all around the calendar. And
correct,
if you pay attention to these tournaments, the one thing to me is a lot of times you'll see a full member player involved in these tournaments, and they don't always perform great. I think some of it is they take it for granted that they're going to beat everybody, and some of it is they probably just don't have the motivation that a player like yourself does to perform well. You go into one
yeah,
of these tournaments, you want to make a name for yourself. You want Harmeet Singh to say, hey, I like the way you play with me. That's what you want. And then Ali Khan got onto the CPL. Ali Khan got into the Trinidad and Tobago Night Riders,
yeah,
because he played in one of these with DJ Bravo with
oh yeah,
yeah. So Dwayne Bravo brought him into TKR because he vouched for him. And so that's really remarkable. So Harmeet Singh is your DJ Bravo, right?
Right, definitely, because I can say anytime, without Harmeet Singh, I would have not been playing minor league.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
as you can say, I wasn't picked by any other team, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll go back next season, give trials again, and get into the team, try to get into the team, perform better. I don't know what I might be lacking something which they needed,
Right.
whatever. So that was my thought process, and then Harmeet came in, and now I'm here.
Right. Yeah. That's fantastic. That's a great story. It's an excellent story. And I hope I can help get that story out, because it's so exciting. It's one of the things that makes sport, sport's just a wonderful thing. Wow, that's fantastic. What do you say to people who say, oh, Phani is just very successful bowling the way he does because he gets wickets where the ball grips, where the ball, because in the USA we don't have those IPL flat tracks that are just made, for 220 runs every game or whatever. What do you say to those folks?
Well, see, it's not that I just got my chance out of luck. I worked for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
I worked for it, and how many can bowl the way I do on a pitch that is gripping?
Yeah. Right. I hear you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that. Even the pitch is flat, like Musa. Right.
Yeah. Right. I was gonna,
we played a game on Musa, and there was not much grip, but because of my arm speed, I was able to have an effective cutters, and
Sure.
I was able to defend 9 runs in the last over, and which made us go to super over, right?
Right.
Yeah. So they were needing 2 overs, 30 runs, and they ended up with coming down to 1 over 9 runs.
Right. Oh, right.
I was able to defend those 9 runs with Rohan doing the final, flowing into the camera to get the catch.
That was the one that was the game with the amazing catch there.
Yes. So on a flat pitch,
yeah.
I mostly depend on my short of length and good length balls and the Yorkers.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's really not at all gripping, that's what I do. Mostly I go for my Yorkers, and I'm very good at that.
Right.
I can be much better, but as of now, I'm good at that.
Sure.
And I generally rarely bowl short of length and bounces. Bounces are something I never do mostly.
Sure.
Because I had a small bad experience to one of my friends when I was young. So I generally don't bowl bouncers. And after the Phil Brooks incident, I was like, okay, it's just one ball. Don't have to bowl a bouncer.
Yeah.
So mostly I depend on my Yorkers and short of length and good length balls.
Right.
So I've been effective on flat pitches. Like if you look at the concrete pitches, concrete are mostly the AstroTurfs, mostly around the US, which are
exactly
the
most
ball
of the
is
wickets.
It's batsman friendly.
Yep, it's
right?
skids. Yeah,
it skids, and it's good for batsmen. Most of the concrete pitches are high scoring.
Yeah, there's like two kinds of Astro wickets basically. There's like the skid kind that's like just on top of concrete, and then there's the spongier kind that's like an indoor where it kind of like springs. Yeah,
springs. Yeah. So I was able to perform good. Even the games which I played with Harmeet and Andreas, which they got impressed and took me in, or on AstroTurfs.
Right.
So if you want to play a good level of cricket, T20 is all batsmen, like flat pitches where high scoring has to go.
Sure.
Right. So even though they are flat, I have some balls, some kind of different variations in me.
Of course.
Okay. I don't have to pitch the ball every time. I have a slower one which actually feels like a full toss but dips right in front of the bat.
Dips at the end. Yeah, and because of the arm angle you have, where it comes out of the umpire's chest, basically, right over the stumps, right in line with the eyes of the batter, that's got to be a nightmare to pick out. When you bowl it when you bowl that slower ball stump to stump, that has to be a nightmare.
Yeah. So I have that one too. I was not using that because the pitch is gripping.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So I do have few backup deliveries, which I
Yeah.
can use them on flat pitches.
Sure.
I can be effective on any kind of pitch.
Right. So
And
you're
with the
not
kind
just
of confidence and encouragement I got, I've been getting from Harry, Andreas, and Shadley,
right.
I can be good.
You feel like you can do anything.
Yeah, I can
Nothing's
do
gonna
it.
stop you.
Nothing. Yeah.
Well, great.
If the team has confidence in you, so that
Yeah.
helps you to put more extra effort.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, that's what is needed. The team environment, a good team environment makes you a better player.
Right.
Yeah, you
So-
can play any level of cricket, you can play any number of balls, but
And
without a good team environment, without a good team backup,
Yeah.
team backing you, you can't do your best.
And if you feel prepared, if you know you have the skills, if your team knows you have the skills, and all that stuff works together, it's just you're just out there having a good time. You're out playing cricket. It's just
Yes.
cricket, you know. It's just
Yeah.
That's a great thing. And certainly I hope we see you in Major League when it launches next year. I think that would be fantastic. I really don't want to see, super flat tracks in T20 cricket. I like to have the I love the ebbs and flows of Church Street Park, for example,
Yes.
where
Right.
you get a dramatic game almost all the time at Church Street Park because
Correct.
because
That's a good.
yeah, it's great. The power play matters so much. The middle overs are just kind of like the middle overs at Church Street Park are like playing dominoes, where it's the first person to make a mistake, it suffers. Just don't
Yes.
make a mistake. Just go through the whole thing.
Yes.
It's like it's like playing a long night of dominoes. Just make no mistakes,
Right. And you can see right from both the games. That is what helped us actually. The middle overs, the Harry and Shubham, they squeezed
Yeah.
the opponents. They were they're making it tough for the opponents to score runs.
Sure.
So if you have that kind of quality bowling in the middle overs,
Yeah.
handling dead bowling and is easy.
Yeah, I hear you. Especially when you've got all this success behind you. You've got the confidence because of the success. It all just snowballs into in a really good way. And
Right.
Ian O'Brien was very critical about how the fire bowled in those middle overs, how they used their spinners completely for 8 straight overs, instead of maybe using them more in the power play or saving them for the death. Meanwhile, because basically you guys kind of just navigated that and didn't lose any wickets, and you were still scoring at about 7 and over or so during that span, which is what you have to do at Church Street Park. You have to just get yourself to the end with some wickets in hand, and things are going to look good for you. You have.
That's true.
It's the only way that someone's going to get through a bowler like you in the death is if you got a lot of wickets in hand. So.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's when they have this, what do we say, a freedom to, try and maybe attack more freely.
Right. Yeah. And then you don't worry about the wicket because you got 6 more behind you, something like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of Church Street Park, what are your thoughts about the ground, the whole experience there last weekend?
Well, that's my first time playing in Church Street Park this weekend, so the finals weekend. So, I heard a lot of crowd turn up, but after seeing the crowd for the finals against Atlanta Fire, wow, that's really great atmosphere to play in. It's lovely to play in an environment like that with a lot of people watching you. They are,
right,
with Atlanta Fire players in the dugout. Doing go fire, and Seattle fans going in the dugout saying, let's go Seattle. So it was so fun seeing a lot of people and, the kind of, work that has been put around, giving these good matches.
Sure.
To the
a lot of work.
People. It's not easy. All the background staff who put a lot of efforts in this. The camera work is amazing. If you watch the game on the TV, it was so good. It was very good standard.
Right.
So the kind of work the minor league has put in all this, it shows how committed they are in growing
Right.
cricket in US.
Yeah, yeah. And the quality is good. The standard of cricket is probably the best thing about it, right now.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's a good standard of cricket. Obviously, you know, we're not there yet, but you've been
It's
around.
grown.
You've been around since
Yeah.
in the league since the exhibition season. You've seen the quality from day one in 2020 to the last day of 2022, and you know that it's improved a lot. I mean, I'm sure you feel that way.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
You can see a lot of professional players coming in and, you know, showing interest in
Yeah.
teaching the youth and, you know,
Right.
getting involved in this kind of stuff. We have Rashid and Corey Anderson, Rakim
Yeah.
Cornwall, who played too good for, he's awarded the division MVP, right?
Yeah.
And Atlanta Fire, they missed him, definitely.
Yeah, they sure did.
But then, so if this kind of professional players, international pros coming in and, you know, helping the league grow, is very good thinking by minor league.
Yeah, yeah.
No?
Yeah, it's great.
Uh,
And speaking of Church Street Park and the effort around it, your community is up and coming in Seattle. You got Marymore Park potentially on the way. That shows an awful lot of promise. I watch
Yes.
your game sometimes. I think the one thing I'd like to see Seattle improve on is the broadcast. I want to see, you know, like,
Yeah.
because everyone wants to watch you guys. People want to watch your team. So you get a great broadcast out there with the you know, you got a community that seems energized. I like seeing even though, you know, for a long time you had the one camera angle and in the back we could see a lot of fans sitting around watching the game, which was exciting. But the
Right.
beauty of the surrounding area in Seattle is almost unmatched. It's unbelievably gorgeous. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
the potential. So I imagine you and your team, when you come to Church Street Park and you see, you must feel like you're looking at the future of Seattle's situation, you know?
Yes, definitely. So they already have a new pitch now and new ground.
Right.
The next season will be far better than how it was this year.
Sure.
And the streaming is something definitely will be much more better, way better than.
Yeah, I think it's
how
taken.
it was.
It's
They had
already
something
taken stride.
this time, yeah.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah.
It's improving. It's improving. I think you know. I'd love to see a Church Street Park venue in that setting right there at Marymore Park. You know, with some berms for people to sit on. You know, some permanent seats too, but yeah, some good broadcast infrastructure. And you know, we had
the franchise management, they're working on it.
Yeah, great. It's great to
a lot
see
of
that.
efforts on it.
Yeah, there are a handful of teams every year. I add another team or two to the list that I think are doing everything really, really well to help get the whole thing to a better standard. You guys are doing a great job. I think Philadelphians are doing a fantastic job too. The Tigers look like the Chicago Tigers are showing an awful lot of promise. Obviously, Asaki's done a great job with Musa Stadium down there in Houston. So we've got a lot of big pluses. Morgan Hill's coming around. They even have a hybrid wicket at Morgan Hill now. So that's exciting. And I think the hybrid wicket is a big solution for this level of cricket.
Yeah, and every franchise, like, you know, like all the franchises which you mentioned, the amount of efforts they have been putting, they've increased.
Yeah,
compared to last season.
Sure.
So you can see the kind of work or the kind of interest they have in growing cricket in US.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great sign. Yeah, we need that. We need everybody pulling together, doing what they can to help improve the quality in so many different ways. And it's you know, but it's been a great 2 seasons. This season was I didn't think we could top last season, but this season did it. I'm sure you guys feel like this was the greatest season ever, huh?
We are elated. you have seen us partying, right?
Yeah.
You have seen our captain how partying he was. Our coach, our captain, vice captain, everyone. We were all dancing,
right?
You know, having fun. A lot of fun moments. a lot of memories to cheer for, and finally
Right.
lifting the trophy. For all we have worked, and we lifted the trophy. So that's one of the best memory which we can't forget for a long, long time. As a family, it's not. It's so the franchise has become more like a family.
Right. That's a good
Because
thing.
that's how everybody treat you there. So
Right. So I'm sure you'll be looking forward to returning next year, trying to defend your title. You have so many titles to defend. You have 3 titles to defend yourself with the division MVP, league MVP, and then the league championship. You have your work cut out for you.
we have 4 conference championship too.
What's that? Oh, conference champion too. You've got 4. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And we would like to win the divisional championship next year.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's right. You didn't even win the division this year. That's one thing you have to do now. So
Yeah.
that is a very difficult division. It
is.
Golden State took a step back. They had some injury issues. That's pretty much what stopped them this year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're a very good team.
Neeraj Goval had an injury setback that affected them. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a few injury issues. Otherwise, they would have been right there with you. You know, it's so tough in that division. And then you have, I think there are a couple teams in the South part of the division that show a lot of promise. You know, it certainly have a few game winners on their team, like the Lashings have 3 or 4 phenomenal players on their team that could just take the game away from you.
Yeah, next year I think Lashings is gonna come more harder.
Yeah,
because the way they improved from the first year to the second year, it's good with Katana Clark, Phillips.
Phillips. Yep.
Added to the squad, they're good.
Yeah, you're gonna have 5 or 6 really good teams in that division next year. So good luck to you guys, and thank you for joining me. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. We had a great time talking the other night too. So, but yeah, I look forward to chatting with you again, and best of luck to you and the team next year.
Thanks a lot, Nate, for giving this opportunity. For giving me an opportunity to get interviewed. I feel good.
Good. Well, it was a fun time.